Hi, I'm David Hawk, author of This Side of Midnight. This is a dark tale told by a man whose life is falling apart, who feels more at home with the dead than with the living, and whose delusional mind sees murder as the only answer to save himself. I will be doing a short reading from the book from Part 1, Chapter 1. The truck's headlights loomed huge and high behind me, lighting the inside of my car with intense white beams. He kept pace with me, hanging back about a couple of car lengths, and stayed there for nearly half a minute. Then came the flashing high beams and the horn blowing. I kept a steady 40 and responded in no way. I heard the truck's engine rev, and he suddenly swerved left into the opposing lane and began accelerating to pass me. As one who prepares for the eventual chaos and violence that will churn out of the fall of society, I also was prepared for the occasional violence perpetrated by the burnouts of present society. I rarely carried a gun with me outside my home. Due to some unfortunate circumstances in the past, I was not legally licensed to carry one. Tonight was an exception. I knew there would be trouble. However, since the use of a gun brings about excessive attention from the police, leaves too much evidence that is too difficult to clean up, and has a nasty habit of resulting in fatalities, I was not prepared to use it if I didn't have to. And I didn't have to. I had an 8-ball. It hung from my rearview mirror in plain sight, dangling an inch down, wrapped several times and tied with a length of twine. If a cop saw it, it was just a lucky charm decorating the car. Instead of big fuzzy dice, an 8-ball. And behind my seat was a set of old clothes, a grease-stained white t-shirt, torn blue jeans, muddied boots, and a pair of filthy socks. Just a change of work clothes to a cop. Although worn-looking, the socks were actually quite tough. A high-density knit of wool and nylon, they could resist tearing under great stress. If the time came when I needed to defend myself, I would pull the 8-ball off the mirror, grab the sock, and stick the 8-ball in it. Wrapping the sock around my hand, it makes a great way to swing a solid heavy weight. It's a perfect sap. One good swipe across somebody's head induces instant unconsciousness, or worse. Jack's truck was pulling up on my left, its hood now even with my trunk. I ripped the 8-ball off the mirror, letting the broken twine fall to the floor. I had no intention of using it as a sap tonight. Holding the ball in my left hand, which I kept high near my chest, and steering with the right, I twisted left in my seat. Through the open window, I saw the hood of the pickup pass me. Its windshield was nearly even now, but just a little behind me. I had an instant to catch the sight of Jack's face in the dim greenish glow of his dash. He was looking at me, his expression one of recognition and surprise. I hesitated for a moment and felt the urge to let him go, to turn around and go home, but I knew in that instant that it was the only chance I would get. With a great heave, I swung my left arm out the window and threw the 8-ball at the truck. The black orb smashed into the center of the windshield, sending shards exploding inward with a terrible crash as the glass shattered into several large pieces. I grabbed the steering wheel with both hands and hit the brakes, and just in time. Jack's truck sped past me and swerved to the right, out of control. It would have hit my car if I had not decelerated quickly. Instead, the truck ran off the edge of the pavement, made a wild turn to the left, and shot back onto the road, bouncing as it crossed the hump between the ground and the higher asphalt. The turn had been too sharp, and the truck's rear end slid to the right, putting the truck into a gradual left spin. It slid back across the road into the opposite lane, and the brakes screeched, but it was too late. Still going at least 30 miles an hour with his tires sliding on the asphalt as if it were made of ice, the truck flew off the left side of the road, plowed through the 10 feet of grass and bramble, and careened into the woods. I watched the taillights as they receded into the woods, passing one tree, then another and another. The twin red lights bounced maniacally up and down, then suddenly stopped as the terrible sound of crunching metal filled the forest. The taillights were completely still, and beyond them the headlights shined their bright white beams into the woodland haze. The beams did not light the ground, but rose into the air at a strange angle, so that the trunks of the trees were illuminated at higher and higher levels as the beams delved deeper into the forest. Well, that's all for now. There's a lot more, and you would be very well advised to buy this book if you like what you heard, because it is very dark, very suspenseful, and I know you will enjoy it. Information on the purchase of this book follows shortly and also is listed in the description below. Thank you for listening. Have a good evening.